Hi everybody, it's Jamie Green and today is Tuesday, July 3rd and I'm here to give you an update on my Amazon FBA journey. I previously shot a video and then I watched it back and realized I had some food on my mouth, so I didn't think you guys wanted to see that. But for those who are new to my channel, you'll see that I'm just a mom. I am not a guru, I'm a mom, and I decided to document my journey to help those who are, starting out and, seeing the ins and outs of it all. So I don't really share my computer screen. I could, but I don't have the bandwidth to figure out all the software to do all that stuff. But I just kind of give you little sound bites and tidbits of what I'm working on a daily basis, and I usually post 3 to 4 times a week. Because that's kind of, I give you updates every couple days, sometimes every day. I'll probably do a video tomorrow, even though it's the 4th of July, because I am running a lightning deal today. So that's part of my update. I'm running a lightning deal. A couple days ago, I think it was on Sunday, I signed up for it, and my boys are watching Moana, but currently ran into the room to work on a fort. I thought they were going to come in. If they do, they're in their underwear, and you just might see 2 little boys running around. Okay, so let me get back on track. On Sunday, I decided to run a lightning deal after I met up with the people on Saturday at the meetup, where there was one guy who's a multi-7-figure seller on Amazon, and then the other guy is a multi-6-figure seller. And so they were just kind of giving little tidbits on what they do for success. And so what I decided to do, since my product is kind of it's losing some of its sales velocity because it's moving down in the ranking with Amazon. Slowly it is, but I want to kind of give it a pop before Amazon Prime Day, which is July 16th. So I signed up on Sunday for a lightning deal that's running today. The thing with lightning deals is you don't control when it's going to be ran by Amazon. You still pay $150. They discount the price of your list price, and they give you a time frame, and they say you have to have at least 60 units available for your lightning deal. And you can set it to whatever you want. So I went ahead and just did 100 because I'm, even though I have a product, I love my brand idea, the brand. Because the brand is kind of was birthed out of my own personal story and my children, and when I talk about the brand, people love the idea of the brand, and it's the products just kind of enhance the brand, or just I want the brand to sell the products and whatnot. So and maybe one day I'll tell you why I picked the products that I did to sell. I don't know that I'll do it today. I don't know if I'll have time, because I try and keep my videos on the shorter end. So, okay, let me go back to lightning deals. It's $150. You go under campaigns or advertising, and there's a lightning deal button. You click on that, you submit it, you agree to the criteria, and they decide when they're going to run your deal. I found a workaway around that because the first lightning deal that they wanted to run was between 12 and 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I was like, everyone on the East Coast will be sleeping, and I will be, I just don't know, maybe moms will be up watching Amazon and looking at lightning deals, but I just wasn't excited about it, so I canceled it. And then I redid it a few minutes later and got a better time. So I got actually 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. today. So I went for it. And so yesterday I checked, and sure enough, it showed upcoming deals. My listing was there. And so it's going to be running today. I'm excited. We'll see. Hopefully it'll gain some traction and some units will sell, and it'll help bump my ranking up with Amazon on the search, keyword search terms, and be ready for Prime Day. And so Prime Day is July 16th, and we'll see how that goes. So in preparation for Prime Day, I've also, I added a bunch of new keywords, long-tailed keywords to my PPC for a exact and broad phrase match campaign. And so that started running the other day, and it's starting to get impressions, and it has 1 click, but no purchases yet. So I'm hoping that this is going to be like this nice triangulation of events going on with the lightning deals, with new PPC, and with Prime Day coming up in a week and a half, and then 2 weeks. And then the other thing that I started doing was running a Facebook ad just for the month of July. Running a Facebook ad, and I put new ad copy in, trying to weave more of who I am and my story into the brand, because that was one of the takeaways from this last weekend's meetup, and then also from my friend who's helping just give me perspective from an outsider. So I'm starting to weave my personal story into my brand within Instagram and Facebook ads. I haven't done it so much within my description of my product, but maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe I'll just put a little snippet in there. But for those who are curious what my story is and how I started my brand, I was adopted when I was 5 months old into a wonderful family who raised me as if I was their very own. So I never felt like I was adopted, if that makes any sense, because I was an infant. But as I, grew up and, started a family of my own, every pregnancy, especially with my first pregnancy, my water broke with my firstborn at 31 weeks, which is very rare, like very, very rare. Like 3% of all pregnancies result in something called PPROM, which is when your water breaks before your full term. And then even rarer than that, of the 3% of people that suffer PPROM, I didn't go into labor. So here I am, my water breaks. I go to the hospital. They check me. I have had a rupture of my membranes, but I didn't go into labor. So what they did was they put me on bed rest at the hospital for 3 weeks. And then they induced me, which means made me go into labor. And I had my son at 34 weeks, and he was healthy and stayed in the NICU for only a week. So we got home at 35 weeks. It was pretty crazy. So it was not what I was expecting with my first child, first pregnancy, firstborn kid, to suffer all that stuff. But while I was in the hospital, I had a lot of time to think, and I was actually blogging about it because a lot of people were wondering if everything was okay. And I think when people hear NICU and they hear all these things and it starts, sending all these, is everything okay? Well, I took it with stride, and I just, took it day at a time, and I was in there and naturally thinking about my biological mother. I don't know if that's natural, but I was, because I'm sitting here thinking, talking to my little boy who's inside, saying, hang out and be fine, just keep growing, stay in there, and all that stuff. I was really feeling quite bonded to him before he was even born, and I felt that way from the time I learned I was pregnant with him. So maybe it was because I was adopted and I wanted to feel that strong bond being formed in the relationship, and just letting him know I'm here for him and I love him, I'm going to take care of him. But I wondered, how did my mother, my biological mom, how was she feeling during her pregnancy with me? How was she feeling, when she gave birth to me? And what was it like to then hand her off to a nurse that would then take me and she would never see me again? Like, those kinds of things, like, they didn't haunt me while I was in there, but they made me really think about how that must have been for her as a young woman. She was 22 when she gave me up for adoption, and she was not married. So in the Korean culture, I guess that's not very, that's not celebrated, and it's not supported. Thus, I was adopted. So that's a little bit of my story. And so when I had my children, I was very much wanting to build build a strong bond with them, snuggle with them, hold them. We practice attachment parenting, which is, there's a whole, I could go into that, but you can look that up if you want. But I guess all that to say is, with my last baby, who's my daughter. We were snuggling one day, and I was nursing her and burping her and all that stuff, and I just was like, oh, I just love snuggling with you, and I just can't believe you're my last baby, and da-da-da-da-da. And so when I learned about Amazon and building a brand that I could market and grow and have a project for my family that would also hopefully result in some financial freedom, and setting goals and reaching those, doing this all for them. Because if you haven't guessed already, raising a family of 3 kids is expensive. And so my husband provides well for us, but I also wanted to do something where I could have a project and also earn some extra money for our family. So that's why I decided to sell on Amazon. And that's why I decided to go with Snuggle Baby, which is my brand. And the burp cloths, well, that was just a low barrier for me to enter into the market as far as cost goes. Like, to land it into Amazon, it was a good price. It was an okay price point with me. There was enough margin if I were to sell it at the list price that I wanted to, that my competitors that are in my specific niche of burp cloth sell for. But where I failed to go bigger and look at the overall category of burp cloths is very, very competitive. So my burp cloths, the little subcategory, very not, let's see, high demand, low competition. Burp cloths, high demand, high competition, which is why it's been a bit of a challenge for me to launch and stay on page 1 and compete with the big boys like Gerber and Carter's and all those big name brands. But who would have thought 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, that I could compete, that I could be, rubbing elbows with these big brands on Amazon? Because I am. And so are a bunch of other FBA sellers. And so that's kind of what is exciting to me about this whole thing with Amazon and selling on Amazon, which is why I am convinced it's just, even though this first product has been a struggle, it's exciting because, maybe someday I can be on Shark Tank, pitch my brand, because that's really what you're pitching. You're pitching a brand and you're pitching your products too. But there's nothing new or special or fancy about my products, but there is something special and fancy and exciting about the story behind the brand. So that's when that was the takeaway from Saturday and from feedback I'm getting from people. I have 21 reviews, guys, 21 reviews. It's very exciting. People love the product. So I know it's not anything about that. It's just I'm new. I'm a new brand, new seller. Everything's new. So that's where I'm at right now with my journey. The product itself, lightning deal, will be a part of Prime, running PPC, running the Facebook ads, and I also added subscribe and save to my product. So we'll see if that helps, because as a mom, Amazon mom, subscribe and save was awesome. Yeah, because everyone likes to save a little bit of money. So there you have it, guys. If you have any questions or if you have any comments or ideas, put them in the comment section below. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to follow along and watch me build out my brand. And I know everyone says, don't tell everyone what your product is. Don't tell everyone what your this and that is. But if you want to steal it, you can steal the product idea. I don't care. What I do care about is the brand and wanting to build the brand, and products will just enhance it. So I think that's where I'm really going to start focusing on, which then leads me to my trademark. I still have to work on some stuff with that. So yeah. All right, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll make probably a quick one tomorrow to let you know how the lightning deal went. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, bye.